Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Inside of today's video, I'm going to be giving you guys a complete 15-0 championship challenge guide. It's coming out in a few days time, and normally bring this video out towards the end of the week, but I thought I'd just get it out today to help you guys as quickly as possible. So before we get into today's video, make sure you're using a create code in the shop. Mine would be greatly appreciated, and also the tier list is coming out tomorrow, so make sure you're subscribed with notifications on to make sure you don't miss out on that video. So yeah, without further ado, let's jump into today's video. Alright guys, so starting off with set number 1, we have Brewball Backyard Bowl. So nice and easy map to start the championship challenge with. And to be honest, as always with set number 1, you can just go your comfort picks, but with Backyard Bowl in particular, it is a little bit harder to score on this map, especially in this type of meta. It's a very just sit behind a wall kind of meta. So the comp I did recommend was the Crow, Spike, and Bell. So basically it's going to be good against tank brawlers, just good against everything. Crow with the slows going to be really good down the lane. You got Spike with a curveball, can just be really strong on this type of map, especially with his new gadget as well. And Bell's just good against everything right now, good against sniper combinations, good against tanks. So yeah, just a really solid combination overall. Other brawler picks that you can pick instead of these ones, you got the likes of Gene in the middle and Piper. A little bit more well, Piper's a little bit more risky, but Piper can help you score a lot easier, especially if you get your super a few times. You can just destroy those walls, making it much easier to actually score on. If you want things to be a lot quicker, I would definitely recommend Stu, even though it's not the complete best pick on this map. If you, as I said, you want to get through this map really quick, you can just use Stu with the wall break gadget. You're going to be breaking up the walls really easily, just making it a lot easier to score as well. And to be honest, I don't really recommend too much more, because I think basically anything can work on this map. It just kind of depends on your playstyle. So yeah, I think if you pick the comp that I choose, you should be able to absolutely walk through this map. So that's going to be set number 1 right there. Let's jump into set number 2. All right guys, so now moving on to set number 2, we have Siege Nuts and Bolts. So Siege is normally the one mode which can cause, well, the most awful randoms for sure. Whenever I play this with randoms, it just normally goes pretty bad. But the number 1 comp I do recommend, it's not any of the comps on this screen. This is just a scrim, just gameplay in the background. But the number 1 comp I do recommend is Sandy, Primo, and Stu. So the brawler, I think you just can't switch out your combination. Well, there's actually 2 really. I think you should always pick Sandy and Stu. Sandy just really good against everything right now, especially with that new stun gadget. It's going to be good against tanks, good against the squishy brawlers. It's just a really solid brawler to have. It's not really counterable in this type of meta, especially on Nuts and Bolts. So yeah, Sandy probably the number 1 pick. Stu just really insane with the wall break gadget again, and it's just going to beat so many different brawlers on the lane. Primo is going to be just really good at bolt collecting. Once he gets his super, once he's going to be able to cycle it really well. So the other good alternatives, if you don't really like those brawlers, Barley can be really good down one of the lanes, especially with the heal gadget, helping you get that first robot, and also just dealing damage on offense. In terms of defense, you can have, well, Sprout is a bit of a riskier pick. I think at the beginning stages, a lot of people are going to be using the tanks, so I probably wouldn't recommend the Sprout. Probably go more so for the Lou. Lou going to be really good against tanks, and Lou's obviously going to get a perfect defense once he has that super on the lake. You can use the super on the lake, just freeze the robot, and it's going to be stuck there for a long time. So I have to apologize again for my Gato. It's just constantly glitching, but hopefully you guys still enjoy this video. I can't really help but that in the background. Also, good alternative picks, I would say as well. Gene going to be really solid overall. M's a good brawler to use as well if you're not comfortable using any of these. Griff and Buzz good as well. Buzz can be really good at collecting that first bolt, especially with his gadget. And Griff can be really good in combination. You see the combo we're using on the screen. The B Griff Primo pick is a little bit risky, but once you open the map up with the Asteroid Belt gadget with Primo and Griff's gadget as well, it's going to be so easy just to dominate so many different combinations. So I think the Griff and the El Primo combo can be secretly underrated as well. But those are going to be all the best brawlers to use on Siege. Try not overcomplicate things. As I said, just try and put Sandy and Stu in every single combination as much as possible. So that's going to be Siege right there. Let's jump into set number 3. All right, guys. So now moving on to set number 3, we have Bounty Dry Seasons. So I think the number 1 comp on this map, well, the one I use for the most part, is going to be like a Ruffs double thrower. That's going to be good against a lot of things. So like a Ruffs and a Sprout and a Tick. That is a pretty solid combo overall. If you're not really comfortable using double throws, sometimes it can be a little bit risky, especially considering it's third set. You're probably still going to face quite a few aggro compositions. So what I'll do, I'll definitely keep the Tick and the Ruffs. I feel like they're the 2 best brawlers on this map by far. I'll probably substitute out a Sprout for like a Bell or a Gene. Again, use that heal star power on the Ruffs. Make sure you're trying to work together to get that first star, and then just sit back, basically try and group up as much as possible. Give Tick the first upgrade. Get him as beefy as possible, because a Tick with like 6k HP is going to be so toxic and so hard to take down. So yeah, that's going to be like the #1 comps. You can go for something a little bit more risky. You see on the screen, you know, Poké Double Tank can also be pretty good as well. You just got to do it, combine it together. So probably would go for like a Poké Buzz Primo strategy. That could be pretty viable as well. As a little bit more risky though, you got to definitely coordinate as a team. Other good alternative picks as well. There is a combination that's going around that is pretty solid, like a Piper, Brock, Bell. If you open up the map with the Brock, it can be pretty decent, especially with the sharpshooters. But definitely, I would just recommend using that Ruffs and the Tick. I think it's just good against everything right now. So not many good picks really you can pick in dry season. I think there's only like a handful of brawlers you can really use on this map. So this is going to be dry season set number 3. Let's jump into set number 4. All right, guys. So now jumping into set number 4, we have Hot Zone Ring of Fire. So one of my favorite maps inside of a game right now. So in terms of mid brawlers on this map, I think Bell is quite comfortably the best mid in this game. While on Ring of Fire, especially because you've got her traps that you can place in the middle. She free taps a lot of different brawlers down the lanes as well. Just overall a solid brawler, and just going to be good against pretty much everything. So I think Bell, you really can't substitute out. If you're obviously feeling a little bit fruity, you can put a Gene in the middle. You can put maybe like a Pam with a new gadget in the middle, or a Piper. But yeah, Bell's just going to be good against everything. That's probably why I'd recommend her as the #1 pick. So in terms of lanes, you can go a lot of different lanes on this map. I feel like again Stu's going to be good pretty much against everything right now with that wall break gadget. I think it's just a safe pick, so I'll definitely be picking Stu near enough every single time. Going to be good against pretty much everything inside of a game right now. So I'm going to put him down the right hand side. That's going to be the more aggro lane, the lane you're going to get a lot more value out of. So the the other lane brawler, you can actually pick quite a few different brawlers. So I'll pick Bell and Stu 100%, and then I'll go Lou in the gameplay, because Lou can be really good, especially if you get one super. You put the whole super onto the zone, and you can keep cycling them over and over again. It's just really good to get some easy percentage. That super is obviously really good at zoning. You've also got other brawlers, right, which are definitely really meta on this map. So you got the likes of Rico. Rico can be really strong with that new gadget. It can be hard to obviously claim complete control with Rico. He's just good at winning his 1v1 matchup, but he hasn't got like a Lose super or like an Amber super that can at least block off some of the map, which is why for the most part I would recommend rather using like a Lure and an Amber, because they've got zoning potential with their supers. So yeah, you can use a Rico down the lane. You've also got Leon with his new gadget. It's such a good synergy with the likes of Bell and Piper in the middle. You place that gadget down the left on that L wall. It gives invisibility to your mid and yourself as a lane, and could just be really strong, especially if you keep cycling those Leon supers. It's going to be really toxic for the enemy to come back. So yeah, you can also go like a Sandy in combination with Leon. I think the Leon Sandy combination is just so much invisibility that can really throw off the enemies as well. You got the likes of Griff, who can open up that L wall and also just a lot of the map. And if you cycle your supers really well with Griff, it's going to be a big problem for the enemy team. So I think I've about covered it in terms of picks. For me, I think the #1 combination would probably be like the Leon, the Bell, and the Stu. I think that's going to give you the best chance of winning on this map. So that's going to be Ring of Fire set number 4. Let's jump into set number 5. All right, guys, jumping onto the final set, we have Minecart Madness Gem Grab. So for this map right here, I think there's no debate in which lane you should be using for sure. The #1 lane by far is going to be Stu. You should be using Stu in every single composition. He's just good against everything right now with the wall break gadget, with the Gaza Hill style power. I don't think I need to say anymore. He's just completely broken in this meta. So yeah, make sure you're using that Stu. I think basically everyone should have Stu unlocked, so use him. In the mid, I think 1 of 2 brawlers should be good enough to keep the enemy teams back. So I think the Bell is probably the #1 pick for me, just because of her range, and especially just a bouncing mechanic can be really toxic. But Jean is equally just as good in the middle as well. So use the Jean or the Bell, and you should easily be able to hold control of the middle. So in terms of the other lane brawler, you've got multiple options right here. So I think the #1 pick is probably going to be the Sprout. It's a bit more of a riskier pick because you could run the risk of facing more aggro brawlers, but Sprout's going to be really good at zoning, especially with his super. As I said, takes a bit more high skill cap, so I'd probably recommend more so of a Crow or a Spike. Crow going to be really good with his slows, especially if you can get a slow on the enemy gem carrier. It's going to be really easy to take them down, and with Crow's jump as well, can wreak havoc. Spike's going to be really good with his super at zoning, and just does a little bit more damage than Big Crow. If you haven't got those legendary brawlers down the lane, the 2 brawlers I probably recommend instead of them, probably like Ems and Pam. I think they're good picks as well if you haven't obviously you got legendary brawlers, but I think all the legendary lanes on this map, like Sandy as well, Amber, are going to be really strong on this map. So yeah, this is going to be Minecart Madness, the final map. Alright guys, this is going to be it for today's video. Hope you enjoyed this one. I think these competitions should be nice and easy. Should be able to get those 15 wins. Let me know down in the comment section afterwards if you get those 15 wins. Obviously, we'll be trying to carry some of you guys as well this weekend. I'll be live streaming either on YouTube or Twitch, so make sure to check that one out. But yeah, basically, if you haven't known by the guide, just use Stu and you should be in a pretty good place to win. So yeah, that's going to be it for today's video, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time.